Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name's Alicia. I love all things beauty, all things makeup. If you're into that kind of thing, then I think you would really enjoy my content. I hope that you will stick around and subscribe. Today, we're going to be creating this makeup look using the new Wet n Wild Saved by the Bell collection. My husband almost disowned me because the only time I watched the show was at his house. So I have no ties to this show. It is all going to be about the makeup and creating this look. If you are interested, then just stick around. All right, I am ready to go ahead and get into it. We've got a lot to review here. So as you can tell, the only thing I have on my face so far is just my lotion, and I've got on some lip balm. And today we're going to be using the Wet n Wild Saved by the Bell collection. Now, my husband wanted to disown me, but I did not really watch this show. In fact, the only time that I watched this show was when I went to his house in the mornings, whenever we were younger. So I would like go pick him up from school and we would hang out in the pit of his garage. And that would really be the only time that I ever watched this show. So it's not like a favorite show of mine or anything. I just thought it was a fun collection and I wanted to try it out for you guys. So as you can tell, we're going to be starting with the eyes. So I'm going to start with this palette, but I also have, I think this was all of the blush collections that they have, these little blush duos. And then I picked up 2 of the 3 lip kits. One of them just didn't appeal to me. And then the last item is going to be the face spray. So there were a few other things in this collection. There was like a little makeup bag, and then there was like a brush set, and then there was just like a big kabuki brush, I believe. But I picked up most of the things in this collection, and these were just the things that appealed to me. Now, Wet n Wild products, I have a lot of luck with them, especially their face products. Now, their old eyeshadow palettes, let me grab one because I have the OG. All right, so where are all my OG people who remembers the old school Comfort Zone palette? Now, Wet n Wild has since re-released these old palettes. They have a new one now, and I think it has 10 shades in it. But I will say that the formula has changed a little bit. So I'm interested to see if this palette is the old formula that I know and love, or if it is that new formulation. So we'll see how these shadows perform. And first thing I'm going to do is give you guys some swatches. Now, I will say one thing that I despise about Wet n Wild, I know that they are an affordable brand, love that. Their quality is actually, I find overall really good. But what is up with their packaging? Okay, so you know these little stickers that they put on there. Why is it like the strongest thing to man? I had to get my husband to help me open this one in particular, and we both struggled. He had a knife. He was still struggling with it, and we actually broke the packaging just a little bit trying to, ooh, that glare is awful. Trying to open this palette up. So a lot of work went into getting into this thing. All right, so I'm going to swatch. I'm just going to go row by row. There is a pressed glitter. I think this is going to be the shade that I used today, actually. So color story wise, I really like the color story that they put together. As you could tell in the swatches, the shimmers swatched a whole lot better than the mattes. This black I'm definitely not impressed with, and you can tell it's got some sparkle in there. This gray was surprisingly really good. This blue swatched amazing. I would say all of these mattes swatched really well. This one I was not impressed with at all. But yeah, everything else was pretty much fine. I just not a fan of this color or this color. But yeah, we are gonna go ahead and get started. I've got my eyes primed with my MAC Painterly paint pot. So we can go ahead and dig in. I'm gonna pull you guys in a little bit closer. There are no shade names on this palette, so I'm just gonna kind of have to point to what colors I'm using. I'm gonna start with this color here, which is like a skin tone color for me, and really that's just gonna make the darker crease shade that I'm gonna use go on a little bit smoother. So I'm gonna start with this. And again, I'm just gonna do one eye on camera and then I'll do the other one off. And this color actually is showing up pretty good. And you can see some of these, it's got like the little impressions on it. Like this one says the man. This one says Z and K for Zach and Kelly. Go Tigers. So that's a cute little touch that Wet n Wild did. And this palette, if I didn't mention, it retails for $14.99. This palette retails for $14.99. If I didn't mention that, you get 15 shades, so that's less than $1, well, right at $1 a shade. So that's not a bad price at all. All right, with the same brush, I'm gonna go into the shade right here. It's nice brown. Tap that off a little bit. And with this, I'm gonna kind of try to focus it. I need a mirror. I'm gonna use this Hocus Pocus mirror. All right, I'm gonna focus this kind of like in this outer corner over here. I'm dipping back into the palette. Focus this on the outer corner and then into the crease as well. Because we already put that other shade down, do you see this gradient of how it's going from the dark and then it's going to that lighter shade? It just makes it look a little bit more blended. Once we barely have hardly anything on our brush, we'll kind of go over that line and just make those blend together a little bit more seamlessly. All right, so at this point, I should barely have anything at all on my brush, and I'm just gonna blend those two colors together. And still, you can see it goes from darker and it fades to the lighter shade, and it just makes it look like you put a lot of work into it when really we know that we didn't. Now, there is a good bit of kick up. I'm going to show you guys what this palette is looking like. You can see that brown shade there. The kick up on that shade. Doesn't really bother me, just I wanted to note it. All right, so I'm going to go in with my finger on the lid shade that we're using. And I'm going to use this shade right here. It swatched amazing. This is what that shade looks like. Just looks like a fall color, right? I've got on this big, got on a big chunky sweater, so I figured let's just be full basic today. Okay. Now something I do want to do, I'm going to take just a packer like shader brush, and it looks like we lost some of that intensity for whatever reason when we put the shimmer on of that darker brown. So I'm going to go back into that darker brown shade. Put this here. Just packing that on. And then with my finger, I'm just going to kind of brush these two together. Okay. Now, I'm going to go into this shade right here, which is that dark, like mahogany type brown shade. And I'm going to deepen it up even more, I think. So I'm going to dip into that shade and just put this on the very outermost edge over here. I'm going to put a little bit more shimmer. Okay, and then into the crease with just a tiny little crease brush, I'm going to go back into this brown shade here, the crease shade that we used, and I'm going to put this right on the edges, right where that actual like crease begins. I don't want any shimmer in there, so just going over this. And I think that that is going to be it. I think I'm going to take a little bit of this shade though, and I might pop that just like on the very, very center. So I've got that just on my finger, and I'm going to put this right in the center just to see if that'll add like a little bit more dimension. A little bit. Okay, I am going to clean this eye up. All right, cleaned that up. Quite a bit of fallout there, so I'm gonna go ahead, catch this other eye up, and then do my face, or the majority of my face makeup, and then we'll be back to do the rest of the products. All right, the eyes are done. I really, really like this look. We used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of 15 shades, so that's not bad, and I really, really like this look. I will update the description on how these shadows wear, but overall, not bad. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and start looking at these blush duos. Now, I did already use one. I used one for the highlight that is underneath my eyebrow, and that is these two, Kelly and Zach. So this one has got a highlighter and then a peachy blush shade, and then you have got Lisa and Screech, and again kind of like a deeper kind of peachy shade, and then a darker like pinky mauve, and then you have got Jessie and Slater, and these are like more of like a bubblegum pink and then like a plummy wine shade. So here they all are side by side, so you can see how different they are. These retail for $6.99. I'm gonna go ahead and start giving you guys some swatches, and we're gonna start with Jessie and Slater. Oh, wow. I actually really like that shade. Screech and Lisa. This shade here was very creamy swatching it. Just FYI. And then the only one that has a highlighter is the one with Kelly and Zach. Ooh, that blush looks crumbly. Okay, so I think I'm going to use the highlighter from this palette, the one with Zach and Kelly, and then I'm going to use the peachy blush from the one with Screech and Lisa. But you see how that highlighter swatched? One of my all-time favorite highlighters is actually from Wet n Wild. So they do highlighters really, really well. And their blushes in general too. I've been a fan of a lot of their blushes. The Rosé Champagne, I bought 2 of those because I love that blush so much. Pearlescent Pink is an oldie but a goodie. Love that one as well. And then there's another one, I think it's like Apricot in the Middle, I believe is what it's called, but that is a gorgeous one as well. So I cleaned up my desk a little bit. All right, I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna start with the highlighter. Gorgeous highlighter. And then something that I always like to do is like right over my brow. Okay, so there was some kick up, but again, these are $6.99 and you're getting a blush and a highlighter. Out of all of them, I'd probably recommend this one the most just because you are getting that diversity. But yeah, we're gonna go into this blush shade, and I might actually even mix these, we'll see. First off, I'm gonna start by trying to just get that one blush shade. I will say these pans are a little bit annoying of how they're shaped for blush, just because it is hard to focus on just one shade. And this is not like a gigantic blush brush by any means. But again, I mean, you can see like the fallout situation. So blush is usually the first thing to go, so I usually kind of layer it up pretty well in the morning because I do no touch-ups at all. So all right, I freaking love that blush shade. Love it. Blended out so good. Like, you see how it blended out with the other products on my face? Like, highly, highly impressed with that blush. All right, next we have got the lip kits. I am going to be using Jessie today because it goes more with, you know, the colors I have on, but I also picked up Lisa. I'm gonna go ahead and swatch these for you guys. Now, the lip duos are also $6.99. Okay, so let's do this. Really pretty pink. And then we've got, these smell like bubble gum. And there you go, that's the lip gloss. Actually, that's really, really pretty. Gorgeous. Okay. And then next we've got Jessie. Oh yeah, that lip liner is like my jam. And it says that these are plumping. I think I got that on my nose. Yes, this smells like bubblegum as well. Oh yeah, Jessie is definitely my jam. Pull you guys in a little bit closer. And I'm just gonna go ahead and line my lips. It's going on super smooth. And this, I had a little like zit by my lip. Are those not the worst? God, that thing was painful. You can tell, again, I do not overline my lips. Just going on that outer edge. Okay. And I may actually try to fill in my whole lip just so we can see if this is a lip liner you can do that with. Like if it's not super stiff. And yeah, this is blending out nice. It's a little bit stiff, but it is definitely not the worst that I've worked with. It's not as creamy as like a ColourPop, you know, but definitely not bad. It reminds me of a MAC, honestly, and I feel like while it's not the smoothest, it does still apply really smooth. Like, look at that color. It applies really smooth, a little bit of a drag to it, but I find that those kind really last a long time. But yeah, this reminds me a lot of my MAC lip liners. So, all right, we're gonna go ahead and go in with the gloss on top. This will also probably just give it, you know, a little bit more color. That bubblegum is a nice touch because most things are vanilla these days. So, oh, I can feel the plumping. I can feel the plumping for sure. Doesn't hurt. It's just that kind of like cooling sensation, kind of like the Buxom glosses, if you're familiar with those. That's the feel that it has. It's not uncomfortable, but it is like a cooling type sensation. So I do feel that though. I'm gonna try this spray. So I've only tried like one setting spray from Wet n Wild, and I actually did really like it. Let's see. Nice spray. Nice spray. They've improved the sprayer since I tried it. It's got a scent too. It's hard to detect, like to say what that scent is, like to explain it. It almost smells like perfumey, but like the lightest. It smells like a light, like baby scented perfume. If you've tried like any of the Philosophy brand, like Amazing Grace or something like that, that is kind of what this smells like. I don't know. I like it. Nice spray. The spray retails for $7.99. So everything that I purchased, it ended up being like $44 before tax, which I don't think is bad for what we got. I will review the collection, the pieces that I picked up with you really quick, but I liked everything, guys. I really, really did. And this is solely from like a makeup perspective because I don't have like any ties really to this show. So this is all solely based on the makeup, and I really, really like it. This blush, I was highly impressed with. The highlighter worked amazing. Love the highlighter. In general, I have always done well with Wet n Wild blushes and highlighters and their bronzers and contours. All of the powder ones anyway. I think I have like a cream contour from them that I did not love. I also had like a stick blush from them, didn't love, but all the powder products, bomb, that I have tried. These lip liners, this might be it, guys. I seriously am going to compare these to my MAC ones, but very impressed with those. These, not sticky at all. Like, they don't feel like these glosses are going to go anywhere. Like, it doesn't feel like they are going to slip around or wear off very quickly, but it is not sticky, but it's got that layer of moisture. And again, they are cooling, not a stinging, plumping sensation, but a cooling one, and they smell like bubble gum. Love those. And then out of everything, if I was gonna say you could skip on any of the stuff that I got, it would probably be this palette. But again, I mean, I really like this eyeshadow look that we created too. We had to work with it a little bit more because I think we did lose some color, you know, in the different steps of the eye. Like, the colors didn't stay as vibrant, but I just applied another layer and it looks fine to me. I will update you guys in the description again on how these wear throughout the day. But yeah, I am really, really thoroughly impressed. The only complaint I have is that Wet n Wild trying to build some super strong women with all of this packaging. Like, please, Wet n Wild, could you please do something about this packaging? That would be my only complaint. The stuff is like pretty, like, you've got to like try to open this stuff, and the stickers getting into these things, like I said, I broke one of the things. So that's it, guys. Hope you have a good one. Catch you in my next one.